Welcome everyone to this channel called the YouTube channel called Coding Code. So actually this is a playlist for a full PHP course. That is, we're going to start PHP from the beginning, explaining what is PHP, how to use PHP, why to use PHP, and all the like. So we're going to start from the basis of PHP for absolute beginners. So it's a course for absolute beginners up to professionals or experts in PHP. So now don't be afraid to start the course and thinking that you have no basic in programming. So PHP is absolutely for this course is for complete beginners. So even if you have never used a programming language, you just need to dive into the course, and you'll be explained to the minimum level so that anyone can actually grab the course and move with it smoothly. So now, as I said, this PHP. Now this is our scheme of work of the day. So the first thing we'll have will be the introduction, followed by the meaning of PHP, the advantages of PHP, what is required for me to learn PHP, and the requirements to learn PHP. So now we're going to start with introduction. Basically, PHP simply stands for what? PHP is a scripting language. That is, it's a server-side language. That is a language. You have surely heard about HTML and CSS. HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, and JavaScript. Now, what is the difference between all these other let me call them languages and PHP? When you hear about HTML stands for what? Hypertext markup language, where you get the word hypertext. Hypertext here, it means that what HTML takes part of what the display that we see actually in our browser. It takes part of what images, takes part of what photos, that is multimedia files that is displayed in the browser. Now, if we talk about CSS, cascading style sheet, there it is simply there to do what? To bring a good view. Because in the 80s, in the 90s, when HTML was created, what happened was that they could build websites, but it was not actually beautiful. So they brought what is called the CSS, cascading style sheet, to come and do what? To style actually our HTML pages. That's why you can see on HTML pages you see some nice colors, nice animations, and all the like. So now you hear about again now the JavaScript. JavaScript is actually what? A scripting language meant to do what? To render a web page, a static web page, dynamic. For instance, what you see on home pages like slideshows and all the like, those are things that JavaScript permits you to do. But now, when you use URL on a website, for example, you have a form. When you fill the form, what happens next? The first thing, you fill a form after they say your account has been created successfully. Next time you can come, you log into your account, you can purchase. Let me say an e-commerce website, you can add things to your cart. Then now do what? Purchase items or articles. Now ask yourself, when you create your account, where does the data go to? Now come back to login again. Where does the data come from? And what is the process that happens for you to be able to log into your account? So this is where we make use of what is called a server-side scripting language. That is, it takes care of what happens in background. So everything that happens in background, because actually there's a database that takes your information and store it. A database, just like let me take for instance for if we take a simple book, then you write information and keep it. So we can call that book a database. But in this case now, it'll be what? It will be a large computer, have enough storage and has enough storage capacity that is being used, and some softwares that are being used to store the data. So no more on books and papers. So that's a little bit what's called a database. So now what communicates actually with that powerful computer that stores the data, which is actually known in computer terms as known in computer terms as a server. So PHP is then to communicate between your web page and that database. So everything that happens in background on a website is basically using a server-side language, and PHP is one of the server-side languages. Now, what does PHP stand for? PHP simply stands for what? Hypertext preprocessor. So it stands for hypertext preprocessor. As I explained, PHP was created by Rasmus Ledov in 1994. So it is very, you can see that's around 25 years now that PHP has been created. So many people have already used PHP. Now if you talk about we'll go now to the next one, which is what? The advantages of what? PHP. The first advantage of PHP is that what? Since it has been created since 1994 and still up to date, we're in what? 2025, we can see that it's 25 years that PHP have been functioning. You can see that there's a very, very great community. So many programmers in the ancient time, they had no choice than to join what? PHP. So most of them, they acquainted themselves to use what? PHP as a server-side language. So using PHP will be a good choice. Why? Because if you have a problem, there will be many sites that can help you to solve your problem, such as what? Stack Overflow, Gigs for Gigs, Udemy, Codemy, and all the like. where you can find solution. And Google, if you Google, you have many forums that can even help you. So that's a very great advantage that some programming languages don't have. Now it is easy to grab. That's the second point. PHP is a very simple language. The syntaxes are very simple. Unlike languages like what C++ and C, where you have to declare data types and all the like, where you have to declare whether this variable is an integer, is a string, is a character and all the like. PHP, you don't need to declare all of that. Automatically it detects the type from the variable you assign. The same thing, syntaxes are very easy, similar to all other programming languages. So now there's another thing, that is what the third point is, the flexibility. PHP is very flexible at the level what, since it's open source, it gives the possibility to almost all IDEs to do what, to code PHP. So you can code PHP on almost on every IDE or any text editor, even block node that you know, and Notepad++, you can code PHP on it. So now, what is required for me to learn PHP? The only thing that we can ask from you is just your concentration. Be really concentrated to the course, and a little bit of HTML and CSS, so that we can build at least some small forms and put some small style on it. Then the requirements to learn PHP. Since we said PHP is a server-side language, that is, it works on a server, we are going to use a simple server known as what, XAMPP server. The XAMPP server, which is an open source server, is very easy to use, so it is free. There are other servers like Oracle, but those are very expensive servers. There are other Oracle, there's Postgres, that are expensive compared to XAMPP, and XAMPP is open source and free for everyone. There are almost all the versions, because if you can't, let us just go to Google and look for download. It's very easy to download. Simply tap download XAMPP. If you click on download XAMPP, you simply come to this website called SourceForge. You click on SourceForge and once the page loads, you simply click on the download button and the downloads start. So that's an advantage of XAMPP. Is very easy to download, very easy to find. Now we have this ID. This is very powerful and nice ID known as what, VS Code. So many people use VS Code. Some people love VS Code and some don't love it. So it's a matter of your choice. Even if you have Notepad++, you can still replace it to VS Code and use it for this our course. Now another one, what I'll be using most will be what, Sublime Text, just because it's easy to use, it's not complicated, very easy, and a way less. So if you want to download, let me say VS Code, you simply tap download VS Code. Download VS Code, and once the result comes, you download it. You click on the first one and you choose your operating system, whether you're on the Linux operating system, the Mac OS, or Windows operating system. All the options are going to appear for you to choose, from which the links are in the description of the video, so that you can easily download it. Then we also have what, Laragon. Laragon is also another server. So it's another server. So this is the link that appeared. So you can simply choose your operating system, whether it's a Linux operating system. You can choose even the type of extension to download, the .gb, rp, .tar, or .gz for this for Linux system. Here in Windows you have the .zip. You can just take the .exe at once. Then for the Mac you download in .zip. So now Laragon is also a server just like XAMPP, and a free open source server which you can use for your projects, such as what, Laravel projects, Laravel projects, PHP projects, Node.js projects, Symfony, and all the like. So the links of all the for all the softwares required for this course is in the description below. So thank you for watching this introduction course. Then the next course, I'm going to dive directly into PHP. So this course is dedicated by what, our main aim is what, learn by coding. So the best way to learn a programming language is by doing what, by coding. So in this website we'll mostly do what is known as what, the learn by coding. So thank you, and just watch the next video to get more knowledge about what, PHP. So thank you.